Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. And today I am going to be discussing Ghost. It's been a while. Thought it should come back around. I know Ghost has a brand new album out, and I am hoping to get to it shortly. My buddy Drew, who I borrow all my Ghost CDs from for these reviews, he already has picked it up. He's already offered to lend it to me. I have to get caught up with all these other ones. I believe I have one other CD I have to get through still. So that'll be coming shortly. This is Meloria? Meliora? Melorio? Meliora. Meloria, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. Jesus Christ, make my life so difficult with these album titles. Alright, so if you have never heard Ghost, and this is the first album you're thinking of starting with, it's not a bad choice. It's basically this album I think is a little more. Okay, so if you haven't watched my previous reviews, go back, watch my previous reviews. Ghost started off very much sounding like a 60s kind of rock, true 60s rock kind of band. And then they kind of kept that vibe the whole way through, at least the first two albums, maybe a bit into the third. There's always that metal element. Ghost very much has that metal element. Okay, so I always liken them to being very much like California acid rock, whatnot. Like we're talking like Iron Butterfly kind of stuff. Really, Iron Butterfly is my go-to where I'm describing Ghosts kind of in the early days, in the first few albums. This album takes quite a bit of a change. There's that 60s kind of vibe and sound is totally gone. Now it's metal, but not metal. It's not death metal. It's not black metal. It's more like Him, or His Infernal Majesty. More like that type of metal. Love metal, sort of, kind of. Still, you get the classic Ghost vibe on here with the imagery, the church kind of vibe, the ministering to the faith kind of thing. I don't buy. I went and I watched the back history on the whole thing behind Ghost with the changes and the various different. I want to say popes. I know they're not popes. I don't have it here directly when I'm looking at. Papa Espiritus the Third in this particular case. Which is, the Pope looking dude here, okay? So, I like the symbolism. I like the showmanship. I like watching the videos and the concerts and stuff like that. It's really cool. I don't care for the whole storyline. They got a great storyline. I hate to say it, they're like War that way. There's this great kind of storyline and narrative kind of behind it, and it's definitely designed to have a great cult following. But you can enjoy it without the cult following. And let me get into this. Okay, so when you get to the first song, Spirit is a perfect opener. It sets the stage perfectly. It reminds you of exactly what Ghost is, what the band does, and the vibe that you're going to get into. It lets you know right away it's a Ghost album without any question. Oddly, though, when you get to the next track, From the Pinnacle to the Pit, I have to keep looking at both the computer and the back of this. I will say that I don't like the way that the font was done on here for CD purposes. For album purposes, it would be great. For vinyl, full vinyl, it would look perfect. For compact disc, it's too small and compact. My views. Anyways, From the Pinnacle to the Pit, all of a sudden goes into some major grungy kind of sound and stuff. I mean, it's got some real heavy-esque. Okay, if you're one of my regular viewers, you may have seen that I recently covered Alice Cooper's The Last Temptation. From the Pinnacle of the Pit has a vibe in there that reminds me a little bit of that, and also reminds me of Kiss's Carnival of Souls. A lot of Kiss Carnival of Souls, actually. And really good tune, really kind of grabs you. And it just, because you go from typical kind of Ghost with that melodic, sweet kind of softness to it, to this really heavy metal grunge, you know, like, because it's not really grunge per se, but it's not really metal per se. It's definitely that 1996 hybrid time period of metal grunge. Then we go to Cerise, and Cerise is kind of the same vein of music style, maybe pulled back a little bit more. Sounds a little more standard for Ghost, a little bit, not a lot. Then we get into another one where I'm going to butcher the name probably because I'm not sure with the accent on it exactly how I'm supposed to say that. Spokesonot, Spokesonot, not. Um, it's just a little instrumental bit, less than a minute. It's cute, I guess. It works the same way that Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi specifically, used to do like his little musical instrumental pieces right before he'd get into a real kicking kind of song. And that's kind of how it is. It's just a little bit of a kind of an instrumental piece before it gets into the song He Is. And He is once again, we're back to typical Ghost. It's really this, you know, making it sound like church preaching. Ah, He is. You know, you would really think that you were in a regular kind of church if you weren't really paying attention to the lyrics. And that would basically bust up the first side. You know, you were looking at vinyl, that'd be more or less side one, and then you're on to side two. Side two opens up with Mummy Dust. Mummy Dust is cool. We're back into that kind of heavy, weird, grungy era, kind of that 1996 metal. You know, 94 to 96 metal. You know, that there was metal was weird in that range in there. It has that kind of vibe to it. Mummy Dust is one of the songs on here that it does stand out a little bit. It's got a good kind of vibe to it, a little bit, you know, a little heavier than normal. But one thing with Ghost is clearly, you know, they're going to be prog, right? You know, I've already mentioned about the themes and whatnot, and how they've done this great thing with building themselves this cult following by having, you know, this whole kind of methodology and storyline behind within the band. And it works out really, really well. And when you hear the different stuff in here, the different arrangements and whatnot, it really shows off the musical skill and talent as well. Like there's definitely a major prog element to Ghost because of the way they do this. Might not have huge long songs, might not have monstrously complex arrangements, but there is definitely arrangements in here. There are definitely key changes. There are definitely signature changes. There, you know, like there's some real effort into this. Mummy Dust is followed up by Majesty. Majesty, definitely pure Ghost. Pure typical Ghost. Devil Church, another kind of instrumentally like kind of thing. It's only 1 minute and 6 seconds. You get Absolution, and then Dies in Absentia are the last two that finish it up. Both of them were back into standard Ghost form. Like, there's not... And I know I say standard Ghost, but when I say standard Ghost, I mean that even when they're doing that 60s style stuff, and they had a 60s or 70s rock kind of sound going on, they very much still had their metal gospel, satanic metal gospel sound, okay? That's always at the core of their music, and sometimes it's more at the core of some songs than it is at others. And Absolution and Deus in Absentia. Now, Absolution is a little more... a little more Gregorian almost, a little more, you know, when you're watching movies and you get those guys in the background who, yeah, that's kind of what Absolution gives more of a vibe of. And Deus and Absentia, well, there's still definitely that in there as well. Deus and Absentia, Absolution is a little more to the metal-y side of it. Deus and Absentia is a little more to the gospel-y side, I think. That's the way I want to go with it and how to explain it with those two. Both very much that whole vibe and feel and everything that you come to expect from Ghost. This, I enjoy this album. I think this is a good album. I've listened to this album quite a bit. It's been sitting in my CD player for about a month now. If you're one of my regular viewers, you would have heard me talk about it in the Sonata Arctica album about, you know, Sunday music listening. So my CD player, you know, I say it's been in there for at least a month now. That's like just Sundays. I've really Saturdays, maybe Saturdays, definitely Sundays that I've been listening. So, you know, like four weekends that I've had it on, really giving it a solid listen. Plus, it's been in my MP3 player, stuff like that too, right? But the mix I've had it in there is my Sunday mix, because it's been Sonata Arctica, this, The Doors, which is The Doors Soft Parade, which is going to be coming as a review sometimes shortly. I forget what the other one is in there. There's another one in there. And it's all in the similar vein where they're not, you know, they got some darkness, they got some whoa-ness to it, some grabiousness, some reason to pay attention, some reason to be alive, you know, something to go, ooh, this is cool. And it's been a great mix. I had the Billy Talent album, which I already covered in there. That was like kind of the most aggressive album that was in there, kind of, sort of. But this is a great album. This is a really good album. It's not my first choice so far of a Ghost album I'd go to. My first choice so far would still be probably... Honestly, the If You Have Ghosts EP is still probably my favorite one to go to. It really is, as funny as that sounds. Infestissimum and what was the other one there? Opus Eponymous. Did I do Opus Eponymous yet? I think I covered that one. I'm gonna have to double check. I don't think I did. Which means I probably skipped an album when I went to this one. Anyways, I know I listened to it. I've been listening to this one. I've been listening to all of them, and that was the problem. I had to stop listening to them because when you listen to it all together and you try and absorb all the Ghost at once, it's not good because you start mixing everything up. You definitely, you know, an album at a time is definitely, I'd say, the way to go with this. And I really do enjoy this. But the If You Have Ghosts EP is still my favorite, only because I love the 60s rock kind of sound that's on there. And that's what really got me with Ghost. The sound that I'm getting on here, it's not bad, but it's not quite where I want it to be. You know what I mean? I was never a huge fan of that 94 to 96 metal period, man. I lived through that period, and it was not great, you know. There was some cool tunes that came out of there. There were some cool albums. One of my favorite albums comes out of that time period. Well, actually, just slightly after that time period, but more or less from that time period. And you know, it's a rough period. It really was. And the album that's one of my favorite albums, which I'm not going to mention, it really debatable with a lot of people for albums. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. This is my view. This is Ghost Meliora. Sorry. Let me know what you think. That's what the comment section is for. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That subscribe button, please, can you hit that button? I'm asking really nicely because that's really important. I'm trying to get my subscribership up so I can do live streaming, and I want to do live streaming because concerts are coming up again. I'm going to start going to concerts. I want to be able to do live streams from outside of concerts just to give vibe, energy, atmosphere, especially since I am going up to Montreal in August to go see Rammstein. I want to be able to give you people that energy live before the concert. Anyways, and after the concert, right? So, Ghost. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my views. There's also a Patreon link below. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.